You are looking live.
Here comes the play. Goodman at the free throw line. Jumper.
He broke his ankles. He is Houdini.
Mickey Mantle don't care about you, so why should you care about him? Nobody cares.
That's not a good call. No.
You don't like that call.
I don't like that call.
Woo, 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 woo. Not so fast.
Welcome everybody to Mike's Madness on Twitch on Sunday morning. NFL Week 17 kicking off in a matter of a few hours. This is it. 4 teams to make their playoff push, and some teams are already, out. They're not in contention anymore. But for those that are, today is the last day to. Today's the last week, last day to get it together and. So the games with the red square around it are the ones that are kicking off at 1 o'clock Eastern. And then all of the other games, except for the Washington-Philadelphia game, will be kicking off in the 4 o'clock hour, either at 4:05 or 4:25. Again, the Washington-Philadelphia game is the only game that's not in red that will not be kicking off at 4 o'clock. That game will be kicking off at 8:20 tonight on NBC, on Sunday Night Football. Some other announcements. Looking at the layout of the stream, how it's going to go. We're probably going to go for like 2 hours or so. We're going to go over today's games, which games have meaning, which don't. Then we're going to be talking about which teams have something to play for. When I mean which teams to play for, it's basically going to be diving deeper into those games that have meaning. Then we're going to get to some news for the day. Which starters and key guys are going to be sitting out today. And then at about 10 o'clock, we've got a good friend of mine, Jake Schubert, otherwise known as Shuby, will be joining us. He's a Ravens fan, so we're going to be diving into the Ravens playoff scenarios. They're playing the Bengals today, as you see on the screen, so we're going to get into all those things. What do the Ravens have to do today to avoid getting embarrassed like the Steelers did at the Bengals, all that good stuff. So, and then we're also going to look at possible playoff matchups as well. So stay tuned for that. That's 10 o'clock. I probably am at 9:55. I probably am going to take like a little, not a break, but I'm just going to get that set up with him. So yeah. And then after that, we are going to have every scenario for we're going to dive into all the scenarios for teams that have something to play. So we're going to kind of dive into today's games, what games matter. We're going to talk about what teams have to play for. We're going to kind of step away from that for a little bit, and then we're going to come back and dive into every little scenario that could possibly be happening today. And then after that, we got another friend of mine from college, Zach Beatty. He's an Eagles fan, so the Eagles are out of it, but we're going to talk about the NFC East, the race between the Giants, Cowboys, and the football team, the Washington. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into his thoughts about the playoffs and all that great stuff. So after Zach Beatty joins us talking about that, then we're going to get into my picks against the spread. And then, if you've been following me on Twitter, which, by the way, follow me on Twitter at Mike's Madness MU. Great stuff there. We've got 16 followers. That's great. We're going to grow that. All that great stuff. But we got a huge announcement coming our way after Zach joins us and after the picks against the spread. Huge announcement. I'm not going to spoil it just yet. You're going to want to stick to the end. I don't want to say anything that might spoil it. So stick to the end. For that, it's a huge announcement for some videos coming on YouTube. By the way, speaking of YouTube, while you're at it, go follow me on, or subscribe, whatever that's called, on YouTube. Search up Mike's Madness. It is the same logo that I use on Twitter and all that. It's not anything else. I think you'll be able to find it rather quickly. We've got 10 subscribers there, so if you haven't subscribed already, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. And when you subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll get notifications every time a new video is posted. So, with that being said, let's get right into today's games. As I said, the games in red kicking off at 1 o'clock. The games that aren't in red are kicking off at 4 o'clock, other than the Washington-Philadelphia game. Which games have meaning? Which don't? As I said, we're going to get to the clinching scenarios later on. The games that have meaning are the Buffalo Bills Dolphins game, the Ravens Bengals game, Steelers Browns, Cowboys Giants, Colts Jaguars, believe it or not, has meaning. Titans Texans has meaning. Seahawks, all the games in the middle have meaning. And then the Buccaneers Falcons game has a little bit of meaning. The Packers Bears game has a lot of meaning. Cardinals Rams, same thing, a lot of meaning. Chiefs Chargers and Raiders Broncos have absolutely no meaning whatsoever. Those games are pretty much just for entertainment purposes only today. And then the Saints Panthers game also has a little bit of meaning as well, just for the Saints. So, with that being said, let me go and again, I'm sorry for this. I wanted to do this with a picture on the background. Excuse me, but that wasn't working today, so we're gonna have to do this instead. All right, there we go. Teams with something to play for, as I mentioned: Dolphins, Bills, Titans, Ravens, Colts, Steelers, Browns, Packers, Rams, Bucks, Cardinals, Bears, Seahawks, all those teams on the screen there. The only thing that the Bills and Steelers really have to play for is the 2 seed in the AFC. Both those teams have already won their division, so that's not in play. So yeah, the only thing that they really have to play for is the 2 seed, and I think the Steelers are kind of content with where they're at. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll get to that in a little bit. So yeah, the Bills, Steelers, all they really have to play for is the 2 seed or the 3 seed. Those that'll be decided today. So not much there. The Colts and Titans are coming down to the stretch. The AFC South is in play. That's coming down the stretch today. And then if the team that doesn't win the AFC South today, they do have a chance to still get in the playoffs. There is a shot that both teams get in the playoff today, but that is somewhat unlikely, as the Colts are right now on the outside looking in. The Ravens, Dolphins, and Browns have a playoff berth to clinch today. That's all that they can really play for. And so yeah, this is just what they have to play for. Later on, we're going to get into the scenarios. How can these teams do what they want to do today? How can the Bills get the 2 seed? How can the Ravens clinch a playoff berth? How can the Colts get in the playoffs without winning the AFC South? We're going to get to that a little bit later. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. For the NFC, the Packers, Saints, and Seahawks are going for the number 1 seed today. That's still in play. And again, this year, there is only 1 bye per conference. The AFC is getting 1 bye. The Chiefs have already locked that up. And the NFC only has 1 bye. So the 1 seeds in each conference only get the bye. It's not 2 teams to get a bye this year. The Buccaneers, they only have the 5 seed in play. And you might be wondering why that's so important. Well, the 5 seed can be decided between the Rams and Bucks. And the reason that the 5 seed is so important is because the 5 seed will be playing the 4 seed, which will be the NFC East winner, which is going to be a team of 500 or less, 500 or worse. So you're definitely going to want to be that 5 seed that's going to get in, and they're going to play a team that hasn't looked so strong all year. So that 5 seed is going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to be a second bye, but it is going to be very important, and it is going to be something that you know, look, hey, if I had a choice to play the Seahawks or the Washington football team, I think I would play Washington over Seattle. I don't know about you, but that's just something that I would I would look at today. The Rams, Cardinals, and Bears have a playoff berth to clinch. Again, we'll get into all those scenarios a little bit later. And the Cowboys, Giants, and Washington have the NFC East title in play. Again, we'll get to that a little bit later. all that great stuff. We're going to get into the scenarios. How can each team do what they need to do today? Just stay tuned, and we'll get to that in a bit. So, some news today. As I mentioned, the setup for this today was not as smooth as I would have hoped and I would have liked. So, what was that? Oh, okay. I didn't know what that was. I just heard some weird sound and I didn't know what was going on. Okay, it was just an alert and a notification or whatever. So yeah, as I mentioned, the setup this morning was not as smooth as I would have hoped, so I didn't get a chance to go look at what other teams' injury report was going on, other than what I looked at a couple days ago. There are some teams that are having their starters sitting, like the Steelers. They're sitting Ben Roethlisberger today. They're content with a 3 seed, which is if they lose, that's what they're going to get. They're going to get the 3 seed. If they somehow win without Big Ben, and the Bills lose, then they'll get the 2 seed, as I kind of spoiled a scenario already. But it looks like the Steelers are content with the 3 seed and the AFC North title, which they've already clinched. So there is not much to play, and not much in play for them. So they're content to sit Big Ben, get him healthy. I mean, I don't know if he's unhealthy or if he's hurt or anything, but sit him, get him rested for the playoffs. So Mason Rudolph will be at the helm for the Steelers today, which will be interesting because if you know who they're playing today, as we mentioned, they're playing the Browns today. If you remember last year, we had the whole incident where the Steelers and Browns played, and well, Mason Rudolph got hit on the head with his own helmet, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. Not right now, go look it up later. But Myles Garrett got into a little bit of an altercation, I guess you might say, with Mason Rudolph. I almost said Ben Roethlisberger, but no, it was Mason Rudolph, where it was wild. I've never seen anything like it. So, yeah, it was weird. So, we'll see how that goes today. I'm interested to see how that matchup will go. You're probably wondering who that guy in the Chiefs uniform is. Number 4, you're like, that's not Mahomes. Who is that? What's that guy? What's he doing? Who is that? We don't know who that is. Help me out here. Well, that's Chad Henne. And I remember playing with Chad Henne in Madden 10 on the Wii. So that tells you about how long he's been around the league. Yeah, so Chad Henne will be starting for the Chiefs today, and I'm gonna give you an attaboy if you know that Chad Henne was still in the league, because as I mentioned, I remember playing Chad Henne in Madden 10 on the Wii, so he's been around for a while. So yeah, if you knew that Chad Henne was still in the league, good for you, because I didn't know. I did not know that Chad Henne was still around, but he'll be getting the start today for the Chiefs, as Mahomes will be sitting out. And it's kind of odd that, and I'll get to this in a little bit, but I think it's odd that they're going to sit Mahomes, and I understand that they don't have anything to play for today, but I just think that it's odd that they're going to sit Mahomes and they're going to have the bye. So Mahomes is going to be sitting now for 2 weeks before he gets to play again. I don't know. I feel like that has potential to be problematic. I don't know. I mean, it is Patrick Mahomes, so I guess you believe in your guy no matter what, but I don't know. We'll get into that in a little bit. I think that's a little strange to me. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling on that. Jared Goff, which this actually worked out in my favor because my face cam is not covering up part of the picture, so it's actually working out in my favor. But Jared Goff, he'll be out today. It's not sitting because the Rams have clinched and everything up. It's not something like that. Jared Goff is out because he broke his thumb. His thumb, if you watched the game last week against the Seahawks, he threw and his thumb landed on a Seahawks defender helmet and went, and it was kind of weird because he went from, it was just really strange because after the game they were like, oh, we don't know if he broke his thumb. He kind of hurt his thumb a little bit. We don't know. He might be out next week. And then the next day it was like, oh yeah, by the way, he got surgery on his thumb. And I was just like, what? Where did that come from? I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but I was kind of taken aback by that. I was like, so we went from, we don't know what happened to his thumb's hurt, to, oh yeah, he got surgery today. Yeah, he got surgery on the thumb. And obviously they found out that it was broken or something like that. Like I get it. We figured that out. But for me, I was just kind of like, right from reading that notification that he had surgery, I was kind of feeling like, how do you have surgery on a thumb that you didn't know if it was broken or not less than 12 hours ago? It's just strange. But so yeah, that happened. Number 10, you see there, Cooper Kupp. He'll be out today with COVID. So, but as I mentioned, I mentioned Jared Goff is out. I didn't mention who was starting. A quarterback by the name of John Wolford will be making his first NFL start, and not even his first NFL start, but his first NFL game ever, his first regular season NFL game appearance today. So, with a playoff berth on the line, I don't know. I think that's going to be interesting because, as I mentioned, not only is it his first start, but it's his first NFL regular season appearance ever. So, for you to run him out and be like, hey, no pressure, man. You just got a playoff berth on the line. No pressure. Like, that's wild. How is that going to feel for John Wolford to be going out, playing in his first NFL game, first NFL regular season appearance ever, knowing that there's a playoff berth on the line? Like, how do you handle that as a coaching staff? Like, oh, no pressure. It's just a playoff berth on the line, and if we lose, we probably get sent home. So, you know what? Just go out there and play. It's no big deal. Like, it's just weird. I don't know how I feel about that. And as you see in the middle, the bottom middle there, we've got Alex Smith in number 11. You know who that is. And if you watched the game last week between the football team and the Panthers, you know who number 4 is. That's Tyler Heineke. Hitting with the Heineke is what the Washington football team will be doing if Alex Smith is unable to start. But he is expected to start. So Washington football fans, be glad, be hopeful, be optimistic, as it seems that the football team, your Washington football team, will be having Alex Smith starting tonight, as the NFC East title is on the line tonight on Sunday Night Football. But if for some reason Alex Smith is unable to start, you'll be having Tyler Heineke, so you'll be hitting him with the Heineke. Yeah, so there you go. I meant to get the soundboard up and running today. If you listened to my show on WIXQ last year, you know that I like to get some sound buttons up and running. Oh boy, that was why I have 2 screens, and you just had to do that to me, didn't you? So we got about 10 minutes till Shuby joins us. Let's get some sounds up in here. What do we got? I haven't opened up the old soundboard in a while, so what do we got going on here? Let's see. Oh yeah, we got some background music that I didn't get up here. Ooh, I forgot. I used to do all kinds of stuff. Background music. Oh yeah, that's right. I used to do all that stuff. Dang. Soundboards. Ooh, I got a whole bunch of soundboards. Yo, let's get some soundboards up in here, bro. Sweet. I forgot all about that. And I know, you're probably thinking, what do you mean you forgot about it? It's been on your computer. Well, you know what? I haven't been at college in a year. So, yeah. I haven't done a radio show since... Actually, let's go to our bookmark manager here. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I haven't been to college. And when I mean to college, I mean campus. I haven't been to campus since February of 2020, so it's almost coming up on a year since I've been to college. And the last radio show I did was I think, well, I guess February, I guess. So yeah, I haven't cracked open the old soundboard in I guess you'd say. So yeah. So we're gonna get some soundboards going up today. Yo, I had so many soundboards up in here. Sweet. Oh my goodness. I used to get, if you watch my radio show, you know I used to get the soundboards popping. I used to do all kinds of stuff. Now, I don't know if it's gonna work today, because it's not like I'm just hooking up my computer to the radio station type deal, and you know, I just play it on the computer and you hear it through your radio or smart speaker sound or whatever whatever you were listening to. And I don't think I had many. I don't think I had many people listening to that anyways. Probably like 5 people or whatever. But that's cool. Yo, I got so many soundboards. Dang. Oh my god. For the rest of the morning, in about 5 minutes, we'll have Jake Schubert, from a friend from high school, joining us. He's a Ravens fan, so we'll be getting into all that stuff, Ravens stuff. They're playing the Bengals today, a win and they're in. They don't have to win, but it's the chance of them not winning and getting in is slim to none, and I think Slim just walked out the door. So yeah, what do the Ravens have to do today? We'll get into all that. We'll get into possible playoff matchups for the Ravens for the first round, and then after that, we will. Let me just get him on the. Sorry about that. I'm just getting all that set up, all that great stuff. So yeah, we got after he joins us, we're gonna get into how can teams clinch the various things that they can clinch today. How can the Dolphins get in the playoffs? How can the Ravens get in? How can the Packers clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC? All that great stuff. So, and then after that, we'll be having Zach Beatty, friend from college, joining me. As I mentioned, he's an Eagles fan. But the Eagles are out of it. But we'll be getting into the NFC East. That's still up for grabs, believe it or not. And we'll be getting into all that. His playoff predictions from the NFC, overall playoff predictions, other comments on big games of the day. And then after that, we'll be getting into picks against the spread. And then after that, we'll be having a huge announcement. Again, stay tuned to that. That'll be coming around 11 o'clock or so. We're just going to see how things go. 11:30 is it's looking like that's when we're going to wrap things up. But yeah, big announcement at the end. You're going to want to stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be awesome. So do not, like I said, you do not want to miss this big announcement at the end of the stream. So yeah, there we go. Here we go. 10 o'clock, we've got Shuby joining us, and let me just get something set up. Oh, whoa, what's going on here? Okay. Let's get something set up. I want to get like a little book or so that you can hear him. Like a little platform or something. Hey, I just want to get this kind of set up here so you can hear him in the microphone that I've got set up here. I'll definitely turn the sound all the way up and all that great stuff, but here we go. So let's turn this sound up. Oh yeah, we'll have it on speaker. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, let's change this. Alright. Alright, you good, Shuby?
Yep, I'm here.
Alright.
Do I sound good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright, so, as I mentioned, the Ravens are in with a win. We got Shuby joining us. Thanks for joining us, Shuby.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. As I mentioned, Ravens are in with a win. They're playing the Bengals today. Bengals are not very good, but we can't overlook them as the Steelers, I think they did a couple weeks ago when they got absolutely embarrassed on Monday Night Football. But the Ravens are in with a win. If they can't get their business done today, they still have somewhat of a hope if the Browns or Colts lose. But the Browns are playing the Steelers without Big Ben, and, well, the Colts are playing the Jaguars, who have only won once all season long. So it doesn't look great for us if we don't win today. So, it seems obvious. Like, Ravens got to go do their business. But diving a little bit deeper, what do you see that the Ravens have to do today to go get the win, just get their business done, take care of it?
I think the Ravens, the main thing they need to do is just to, hopefully this week, they focused on the Bengals. They're no pushover. They've been heating up the past couple weeks. As you said, they embarrassed Pittsburgh, and they went out and beat Houston and Deshaun Watson. And as Ravens fans know, last time we overlooked the Ravens, I think it was 2 seasons ago, They came back and beat us in the fourth quarter, like a heartbreaker, and we missed the playoffs. So I think the main goal should have been all week just to focus on the Bengals and not look forward to the playoffs, because the NFL, you got to take it 1 week at a time. As for our offense, we just got to play how we've been playing the past couple weeks. Lamar's just got to do his thing. Since he does not have a good pass defense at all, so if Lamar can get throwing the ball consistently and we can establish a run game early, I don't see there's any way we lose this game.
Yeah, the Bengals are not one of those teams that are going to stack the box and make you and force you to run it. They're one of those teams that, there's a reason they're 4-10-1. And I agree with you completely when you said let Lamar do his thing. And ever since he came back from the COVID incident, the first game back was the Cowboys, I believe. I really liked I don't know if it was a decision from Harbaugh, from Roman, if it was just Jackson saying, I've had enough of your stupidness, I'm just going to do my own thing. I don't know what it was, but when Lamar came back, something changed where we stopped making Lamar throw the ball 40 times when, he's the best runner, arguably in the league, running back or quarterback, whatever you want to say. I'm just so glad that the Ravens have stopped making Lamar Jackson try to be like Aaron Rodgers. Let him be the guy he was at Louisville. Let him be the guy that made him win the MVP. Let him do his own thing and stop forcing him to be someone who's not. And, during all those cheesy high school and middle school, I don't know what they're called, but those little Avidum things are like, be yourself. You're good enough. Just be you. That's what the Ravens have to do. Let Lamar be Lamar. Let him be himself. And as you said, get the run game going early. The O-line, I don't know about you, but I've been really pleased with the offensive line in the past few games. Going through the injuries that they've gone through, all the adversity they've gone through, and to still, be as sharp as they've been. I don't know, your thoughts on the offensive line. I think they've been great.
Yeah, I agree. I think the offensive line has stepped up a lot. I was really nervous after we lost Ronnie Stanley, and a couple other guys got injured on the line, and then we had that whole Skura snapping incident in New England.
Yeah, that was terrible.
But Pat McCarr has stepped up once again. I really like him. I really like how he played last year when he filled in. I'm really impressed with the offensive line. They've been playing fantastic. We've been running the ball down other teams' throats these past couple weeks. And I can't really complain. I just hope they keep it up.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I was really surprised at how well the offensive line specifically played in the game against the Giants, because even though the Giants are not one of the best teams in the league, their defense is no joke. They've got a pretty, I'm not going to say they have a great defense, but they have somewhat of a pretty good defense. And I was just surprised at how much time, when Lamar did throw the ball, how much time he had. And he didn't ever feel rushed. And obviously it helps that he can, he can make time himself. But I just thought the offensive line was great last week, specifically against the Giants. Getting back to some other things that I see, as we mentioned, let Lamar be Lamar, kind of one of those dumb things to make him throw it 40 times. Another thing that I think they've got to cut down on is you got to stop forcing things. And there's a few things that they've been forcing this year. Forcing the ball to a wide receiver that's not open. And I think that they've been forcing it to Hollywood Brown or earlier on, not recently, but past few weeks, earlier, before the whole COVID thing, before this team really turned the corner, I feel like they were forcing the ball to some receivers other than Hollywood Brown, but he's just one of them that comes to mind. And some of these fourth down conversions have left me, or fourth down, not conversions, but going for it on fourth down, that's let me, it's leaving me a little confused and scratching my head a little bit. So I think when you're playing a team that, while they're not a joke, they're 4-10-1, they're not terrible, but they're not great. I think you just got to go out and play your game. Don't force stupid things. Don't go for it on fourth down and 3 on your own 40-yard line. Against the Steelers or against the Bills or against the Chiefs, sure, go for it. But against the Bengals, you're going to have some more opportunities than you think you might have. So just go out there and play the game. Don't don't try to win the game in the first quarter. Also, Des Bryant, how about him? I think he's been great. I would love to see him get more targets. What do you think about Des Bryant?
Oh yeah, I love Des Bryant. I was super excited when we figured out we signed him to the practice squad earlier in the year. I think even though, I mean, recently he's been turning up on the field a little bit, but just having a guy like that in the locker room is great for a younger team like the Ravens. He brings that mindset. He brings that determination. He knows he's good. He knows like all the rookies and younger players can look up to him for advice. He's just like a really good guy, kind of like Mark Ingram. I know Mark Ingram's been a healthy scratch these last couple of weeks, but it's good to have guys like that in the locker room just to be there for the younger guys. And if Dez keeps playing like he's playing, he's getting open. He's had a touchdown against the Giants, and I believe he scored the game before that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he keeps throwing up that X, I'll be happy. I really like him, and I think, I mean, he's not our number one wide receiver. I think the Ravens need to go out and draft true number one wide receiver, even though Hollywood's been doing well recently. But I really do like Des Bryant on the Ravens.
Yeah, and he was a guy that I remember when he came out of college. I wanted the Ravens to draft him when he came right out of college, and Cowboys got him. I was really disappointed about that. And funny how things go, how we end up getting him not more than a few years later. But yeah, I agree with you on what you said about the being in the locker room more than just being on the field. And you mentioned Mark Ingram, and for those that don't really know the deal with Mark Ingram, you're probably thinking, why is he not playing? Well, he hasn't been playing because J.K. Dobbins has been absolutely tearing up the field, and well, I mean, we also got Gus Edwards, Gus Bus, so we don't need a third running back to take carries away from guys that are being really productive. And Harbaugh went to Ingram after one of the games. I forget which game exactly it was. But we went talked to Ingram after the game about the situation, about not playing as much, not getting as many snaps, and Ingram was totally cool with it. He totally understood, and that's great when you have guys that when they don't play and they are the veterans and they're not playing, they don't whine and complain about it. They don't make an Antonio Brown situation happen. They just kind of say, you know what, it's fine. And they don't take it personally. They don't complain. They don't whine. They just do their thing, and that's that. And they focus on being that mentorship in the locker room. And Mark Ingram's a terrific example of that. Des Bryant as well has been a great example of that. And I also, I don't know what you think about Willie Snead, but Willie Snead is definitely on the older side. He's been in the league for a while, but and I just love the fact that even though he doesn't get the most targets and he doesn't get the most receptions, you never hear him complain. You never hear him whine about anything. You never hear anything bad from Willie Snead. He just goes out, does his job, and that's that. And I think that when you have guys like that just go out and do their job and they're not worried about the box, the statistics and the box score, I think that is great. And that's what makes a team that's going to be successful. So, as the Ravens are kind of turning the corner here, albeit they haven't played a great team through this stretch of games. Looking at the playoffs, I don't want to look ahead here, but I mean, you can't talk about Week 17 without talking about the playoffs. And it's looking like we're gonna play. It looks like the Ravens are gonna play most likely the Steelers or Titans. And I was looking at the playoffs, and well, first off, did you have any thoughts on Willie Snead?
No, I mean, I love Willie Snead. I think, like you said, he's very humble. He doesn't speak out of turn. Like he's just a good guy to have on the receiving corps. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I was looking at the playoff generator on ESPN and all that great stuff, and I was looking at the possible teams we could play, and I don't know about you, but I think it would be kind of funny if the Ravens went on a little revenge tour in the playoffs. First round you maybe play the Titans. We all know what happened last year. Maybe second round you play the Steelers, who we lost both games to this season. And both games were very winnable, but we ended up losing on the wrong side of the scoreboard. And then maybe the AFC Championship, maybe play the Chiefs, who we haven't been able to beat in what seems like forever. So, I mean, how about a revenge tour for the Ravens? How sweet would that be?
That would be awesome. That would start off 2021 perfectly. I I do think we could beat all three of those teams. I'm not trying to sound like a salty Ravens fan, but we played horribly when we played Tennessee this year in the regular season, and we should have won that game. And then the Steelers too. I don't think the Steelers are as good as a lot of people think they are. I mean, I know they just went out and beat the Colts, and they looked really good, but they've just been playing kind of bad this later half of the season. So I'm not scared of Pittsburgh. I'm more scared of Tennessee than I am Pittsburgh. So I hope. I'm not sure how the games will play out, but or who we need to lose, but it'd be awesome to play Pittsburgh in the first round of the playoffs and get our revenge back on them. Um, yeah, I mean, we almost beat them with a third string practice squad,
Yeah.
so it'd be cool to beat them at full health.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the only team that I'm really afraid of is actually the Bills. Tennessee a little bit because Derrick Henry as well. He's Derrick Henry. Seems like nobody can stop him unless you're the Green Bay Packers. The Steelers, I'm not afraid of them. I think, as you mentioned, we almost beat them with the Ravens. Almost beat them with their practice squad. And you look back at that game, you say, man, if we would have had Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, Mark Andrews, I feel like the Ravens would have absolutely crushed them. And maybe you say if the Steelers are looking at that game with those starters, they maybe get prepared a little better for that game. But I don't look at that. I look at what happened, and then in a situation like that, I'm just kind of thinking like, well, if the Ravens would have had those starters, I feel like it would have been it would have been interesting. Let's say, but yeah, I don't want to play the Bills because I think they're a team that, well, I think they're the other Super Bowl contender from the AFC, and like you said, it would be great to go on that revenge tour from a Ravens fan's perspective, and you don't want to sound like a salty Ravens fan, but no, I agree with you. I think that the Titans, Steelers, and Chiefs are very beatable teams, and I like if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, you're thinking you think the Chiefs are a beatable team. They're 15-1. Well, they've barely scraped by the past few weeks, and honestly, like, sure, they've got Patrick Mahomes, they've got Le'Veon Bell, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire just fell down for injury. Sure, they've got Travis Kelce. Sure, they've got McCole Hardman. Sure, they've got the guy Pringle. Sure, they've got a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong, and they've got a great coach, but there tends to be a tendency from teams coming off of a Super Bowl win that they either come back and they're determined to do it again, or they come back and they have a really down year. And you've seen the Chiefs come back and they're really determined. You've seen the 49ers come back and be a disaster, albeit they do have a lot of injuries. However, even though the Chiefs are 14-1, 15-1 rather, excuse me, I'm not scared by them. And I know that the Ravens just can't beat the Chiefs, but I think that you can't lose to the Chiefs every single time. And I think if the Ravens come to play the Chiefs, I think that would be a great game. And if the Chiefs win, then the Chiefs win. May the best team win. But I think it would be absolutely awesome to play the Titans. Get revenge back on them, not only from last year, but as you mentioned, the game earlier this season, which very winnable. And you look at the Ravens as coming into this week as 10-5, and they very well could be what would it be? What would it be, like 12-3? And because you take the Titans game, you take one of the Steelers games, and Chiefs game, fine, you lose that game. But I mean, look, there's a lot of possibilities out there. I think the Ravens have, I think they have what they need to get going in the playoffs. But Shuby, what other comments do you have on other games today?
Really quick, I just want to add on to your Chiefs analysis. I think the Ravens have the perfect team to actually beat the Chiefs, because the way you beat Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Patty Mahomes is you keep them off the field. So if we can establish a run game against the Chiefs defense, which is possible because they're not the best, and we keep them off the field and we win time of possession, I think that's how we beat them in the playoffs. And yeah, I just wanted to say that about the Chiefs. As for other comments about games today, I'll only be watching the Ravens and then the Bills, Dolphins, Steelers, Browns, stuff that relates to the Ravens and affects their playoff seeding or spot. I will be really interested in tonight's game, Washington football team versus the Eagles, because that's huge. That's for the division, prime time. I don't even know if Alex Smith is going yet or starting, but that's going to be a huge game for Washington. I'll be rooting for them, just because I'd rather see Washington in the playoffs than the Giants or the Cowboys. I'm not too familiar who plays at 4 o'clock today. I haven't actually looked yet. But yeah, I'll just be watching pretty much any game that has playoff implications towards any team, just because I love the NFL and I love watching some good Week 17 football.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, there are a lot of games, believe it or not, that have playoff implications today. And I think this is probably like, I think I read something somewhere that said like this Week 17, it has the most games with playoff implications, not ever, but like in a long, long time. So there's a lot of games today that have a lot of meaning. It'll be very exciting. Anything else?
No, man. I appreciate you having me on. It was fun. I enjoyed talking football with you.
Sure. Anytime. Playoffs. I'll probably be doing something during the playoffs. You're welcome back anytime. We really enjoyed talking to you. Good catching up.
Yeah, good catching up. Thank you for having me on.
Yep. Take care. Be safe.
Yep. Thank you. You too.
All right. So that was. Yeah, I'm getting some notifications up in here, but that's cool. So there we go. That was Jacob Schubert, however you want to mix that around. So yeah, there we go. We got some good stuff there. Good Ravens. Good. Very nice. So yeah, there you go. That was our Ravens splurge of the day. No more 20-minute segments of only Ravens. So there you go. Moving forward, the important games of the day. Let's get the soundboards back up while we're at it. Let's get some soundboards going up in here. Some sound. And it's not my soundboard. Don't get me wrong. This is just a bunch that I found. Some that I found online, which I think it's funny. I got Stephen A. Smith, Gus Johnson, Chris Berman. Let's see, what do we got for Chris Berman? Saints Panthers, they play today. Let's see, what does this do?
Saints, Panthers. Stephen Davis is just shy of the midfield stripe and takes the quick handoff with a spin. They're full. Nobody was deep on the left side. 10 to 5.
What is happening?
The Panthers win this one by the final score of 14-13.
Okay, I thought that was gonna be funny, but it wasn't. Sorry about that. I want the one where he goes, hey, but we don't have that one on here. Sorry, we're gonna get to the next segment in a little bit. I just wanna, as I mentioned, I used to get these up every morning, not every morning, but every Sunday morning when I used to do my radio show, but I haven't done that since February. So diving back into these is like, kind of like when you clean your room and you find all those old toys, not, when you were a kid, when you clean your room and you found all that stuff that you were always looking for and you could never find, or stuff that you just forgot about. Yeah. Don't ask me about college football picks against the spread. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. They were terrible. They were absolutely terrible for this week. So yeah, I can't find any good sounds right now that we can play, but if I do, then we'll head them up. So we got a few people that follow the Twitch, which is great. If you haven't already, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Mike's Madness, same thing as here on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Mike's Madness MU. Again, that's the letters MU at the end for Millersville University, all that great stuff. So look at all these important games, and moving forward, you might be remembering the first picture we had, and it was all of the games for today. And you're looking at this and you're thinking, this looks like all the games. Well, there are about, let's see, there are really about like 4 games or so that don't really matter today, and that's it. 4 out of 16 games, I think, don't matter today, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, these are the important games today that have playoff implications for either conference, NFC, AFC, all that great stuff. So we're gonna dive right into what each team has to do today. The Bills. If the Bills win today, they will have the number 2 seed in the AFC. That's it. That's all they can clinch. They've already clinched their division. The worst seed that they can have today after today would be the 3 seed still, which is pretty good. So yeah, the Bills, if they win, they get the 2 seed. It's all over. It's done. The Steelers, they can get the 2 seed with a win and a Buffalo loss. The AFC North is already locked up. That's a done deal. Nobody else can win the AFC North. And the 2 and 3 seed will be between the Bills and Steelers. The Titans don't have a shot at being the 3 seed, any of that great stuff. So the Steelers get the 2 seed with a win and a Buffalo loss. As I mentioned, the Bills get the 2 seed with a win. Let's move down to the Dolphins. The Dolphins clinch a playoff berth with a win at the Bills today, which is going to be a tall task. They also do not have Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was one that I did see, but I didn't put it on the little segment where we had all the injuries and the starters sitting. Fitzpatrick will not be active in this game, so he can't come out and be the closer in a game that if Tua doesn't play well. So it's Tua or nothing for the Dolphins. So the Dolphins win and they're in, or a Ravens, Browns, or Colts loss will also clinch a playoff berth for the Dolphins today. So that'll be something to look out for. And how about the Dolphins being a pretty legit team for the first time since 2017, and even before that, it was a long time before 2017. I think in the past 10 years they've really only been in the playoff conversation, including this year, I think maybe 2 or 3 times. So this is really some new territory, and it's a new group. It's not the same group that you saw in 2017. This is a new quarterback. This is a new head coach, a new staff, pretty much new everything. So really cool to see a team like that get things going. And be in the conversation for once. And sure, it always helps that you have, the Patriots are not really relevant and they're not in it. But there you go. The Dolphins are real. So that's that. So